When you're reading this letter, I imagine much has changed. Whether it's yourself or the world.
I love Zenless Zone Zero. Seriously, I can't overstate just how much I've been enjoying this game. From logging in every day for daily tasks, to sinking many hours into the story, side quests, and building up my agents. This game has captured me. I was instantly hooked from the reveal trailer to my first hour of gameplay. It's been a few months since release, and over a year since I got to try out the beta, and I started thinking to myself, why did Zenless Zone Zero captivate me so much? I had given up on Genshin Impact not long after its release, and I was never really interested in the Honkai titles. Heck, I only just started Blue Archive recently after being interested in it for years. So what was it about Zenless Zone Zero that made me love it so much? Let's take a moment and think about our favorite games. What about them spoke to you? What about those games really got its hooks into you? Was it the gameplay? The graphics? The music and artistic direction. Was it because you could immerse yourself in the world?
Hold up. There are death claws all over the damn place north of here. You need something? I'd noticed Snuffles limping, but I didn't realize the problem was that serious. Thanks. That beast helps keep spirits up around here.
I have to go now. My planet needs me.
Was it so you could sit and reminisce about nostalgic memories?
Ravioli. Mamma mia.
Or maybe it was all of these things. Really quick, I wanted to say that some of this footage that you'll be seeing came directly from my Twitch channel where I stream occasionally. In that footage, you might see my VTuber model in the corner. Currently, I'm using two separate free-to-use VTuber models, which you can find from these people. I'll have links to them, plus any extra footage that wasn't recorded by me will be linked in the description and credited on screen. So if any of that interests you, go check it out. Now, thanks for tuning in. Now let's start the video. Zenless has a fairly simple combat system. You've got 5 buttons: attack, dodge, special, and ultimate. The lack of complexity and high difficulty is one of the things I see turning some players away. But the simplicity is for a reason. Allowing a lower barrier of entry can help bring in more players. This is a gacha game after all. More players means more possible spenders. But complexity and difficulty aren't why I'm playing Zenless Zone Zero. if I was trying to get my ass kicked, I already have games for that. What's more important to me is how Zenless Zone Zero utilizes impact and speed with flashy moves and sounds to make encounters special. Combat is often done in quick skirmishes against waves of small enemies or 1 to 2 elite foes, and your rewards can sometimes improve with faster clears or more skillful play. I'm a big fan of this emphasis on speed, since fights are quick and isolated, usually, with a few exceptions, not saving your ultimate or energy for later battles, so you can go all out. Attacks have power and impact in both their visual and audio forms. This also extends to the enemies who give distinct cues for their attacks. When a foe gives you a bright yellow flash before an attack, you can hit the button and unleash a defensive or evasive assist, depending on the character being swapped in. Swapping in a character like Rena or Grace will activate a bullet time-like state where you can let loads of attacks fly or position yourself better. Agents like Ambi and Caesar use defensive assist, unleashing a crunchy parry of the enemy's attack. The sound and visual effect from the parry is one of my favorite things in this game. A big metallic clash and a flashy follow-up attack. This interaction, the sound, and even the rhythm of it is just so good. And the speed at which combat flows gives you plenty of opportunities to soak in the coolest sounds and visual effects.
How do you like me now? Don't you dare hurt my friends!
An important part of character-driven action games is how the personality of characters can be reflected in a fight. Making characters look cool in both action and design can help to make electrifying moments that will stick with players and make them lifelong fans of that character.
And the winner is me!
Not only do Zenless Zone Zero's characters have cool designs, but they're fun and expressive in combat. One of the things that's really drawn me in is how well animated each character is during combat and story. Watching our agents fight is thrilling. I sometimes even just stop to admire some of their moves. Agents all move and fight with distinct styles, with one of Zenless Zone Zero's lead producers citing brawlers and fighting games, namely the Street Fighter series, as inspiration to the game's combat and animation systems. It's pretty apparent that they're fans of fighting games in general. I mean, Lighter and K-Dash from King of Fighters have similar looking moves. Listen, whoever on the design team that's an SNK fan, sure me, that's all I'm saying. Anyway, it really shows when you watch characters run, dodge, and flip around. Animations are built around specific characters and the unique combat styles they employ, and the two agents who have a similar combat style still have their own unique aspects to them, and it makes sense why they might have similar fighting styles. Speaking of fighting styles, there's some great details to attacks and movements that make me stop and say,
"Alright, that's cool."
Don't get in my way!
I'm here.
I could have made an entire video just about the details of the animations and cutscenes, but there was far more I wanted to talk about, including...
Here's a taste of the abyss. Careful.
Agent Ultimate skills. They do incredible work of telling the player that this is the biggest attack they've got. From the framing and animation of the agent to the sounds and voice lines, really it gives that fighting game kind of level 3 super special, critical art, skybound super, rage art, final smash. It goes without saying that Zenless Zone Zero is an extremely stylish game. This was one of the biggest reasons I was hooked since the reveal trailer. The game uses influences of cyberpunk and cassette futurism to mold its setting into a perfect urban utopia. The game does take place in a mildly futuristic setting after a brief period of societal chaos. There are intelligent humanoid constructs and little robotic partners, known as Bang Boo, roaming around. But you'll find lots of older technology has been retrofitted into the setting. Old CRT TVs, flip phones, the use of VHS and cassette tapes, reel-to-reel tape decks, boomboxes, the list goes on really. The visual aesthetic of Zenless Zone Zero might remind you of the movie Blade Runner, or games like Observer and Signalis. Some of these old tech elements pop up in the areas of the UI as well. The dungeon crawling elements of certain quests take place in a TV world, where individual tiles are made of blocky cathode ray tube monitors. The events tab in the pause menu, styled after a moving film reel. And the tabs on the agent skill screen always kind of reminded me of buttons on old cassette and DVD players. And I always kind of thought the equipment screen looked like a multi-disc CD player. I always wanted one of these things. The overworld has plenty of its own style too, from bustling urban centers on Lumina Square and 6th Street, to the deserted Ballet Twins Plaza, and the less deserted desert of Blazewood. There's interesting businesses, sculptures, graffiti, restaurants, the skateboard benches. Don't get me fucking started on the skateboard benches. I want one of these so fucking bad. Blazewood, in comparison to the city hubs, has its own style, with its obvious calls to Western United States iconography. Things like roadside diners, gas stations, there's tumbleweeds everywhere. Oh shoot, they got Buc-ee's even? The people of the Outer Ring have banded together, forming various biker gangs. Members of the gangs can be seen wearing different forms of leather jackets, mechanics, jumpsuits, and other types of riding gear. As with any character-driven gacha, the playable and unlockable characters are the driving force bringing and keeping players around. Zenless's roster of characters includes an array of humans, intelligent constructs, and Thyrans. The factions that agents belong to follow various stylistic themes. Belobog all bear something to dictate their affiliation with the construction industry. Victoria Housekeeping are all Victorian-styled maids and butlers, and have references to various horror and thriller tropes. The Cunning Hares are a ragtag bunch of found family who have association with other factions. Public security agents wear tactical gear adorned with identifying marks such as the public security logo and the color blue. You can tell a lot about some agents by taking even a cursory glance at them. Using Kaleda,
Yeah, you know what's good!
you might notice parts of her visual design that help to describe her roles in both combat and the world. She's the leader of Belobog Heavy Industries, a construction company that employs a large amount of bear Thyrans, like Ben Bigger. Her headband and eye patch are both bear related, with the eye patch even being the same color as the company logo. Her white coveralls, which you can see on many other faction members, is complete with a full tool belt. Her weapons, a hammer and a wrench, can help you categorize her role in combat as a stun agent. And lastly, the color choice and designs in both her hair and clothing let you know she uses the fire attribute. Also, it's not lost on me that a uniform for a faction named Bellabog is white in color. Excellent design choice. Quickly looking over other agents, you can see they share similar philosophies to their designs, with small details here and there telling you aspects of an agent's role, what faction they belong to, or their personality, especially Bernice with that Flavortown fit. To me, often, the sign of a good game is how much you can really get lost in it. To some, that may mean getting the absolute maximum amount of content from the gameplay. Fighting game players will spend hours labbing out optimal combo strings. Rhythm game players will practice the same song endlessly to get better scores or full combos.
Kill you. Hey, good fight, Texas Flood.
Speedrunners will find the fastest intentional or unintentional ways to beat their favorite games. To others, the gameplay or challenges aren't as nearly as important as the game's world, lore, the journey it takes them on, or how immersed they become in the experience as a whole. Stardew Valley lets you build up a farm, fish, dive into the mines, interact with a lively town, spam gift Shane and Beer pizza until he marries you. Cruelty Squad lets me live out my unrealistic American dream of owning a home and... Fallen Aces lets me be a hard-boiled detective in a world that really wants me dead. I think I know which horse I'm betting on. Zenless satisfies both of these aspects for me. I find great enjoyment in building up my agents and playing through all the content the game has to offer. But one thing this game does so well, and the reason I started making this video, was Zenless Zone Zero's immersive factors. Zenless Zone Zero does quite a lot to make you feel like you actually live in its world. Your video store is a central hub in the game for various quests and story points, but you still get to operate it, selecting promoters and featured tapes to boost rewards. And on occasions, customers come in asking for specific tapes and recommendations, making you actually feel like the manager of the store. New Eridu feels alive. NPCs scurry about populating the various locations. Businessmen and women, students, workers, public security, sirens, this girl who looked better in the beta, all going about their days as normal. Taking a walk through 6th Street or Lumina Square can produce different results depending on the time of day. During the morning and afternoon, the sun is up and the streets are full of passers-by. But come night, the sun has begun to set, the music changes, some businesses close for the day, and the streets are barren with only a few stray souls lingering about. Oftentimes, NPCs in the streets have something to say. Approaching some will show text bubbles as they air their thoughts out. But plenty are interactable and talk directly at you. Comments about their own lives, dropping tidbits of lore, or giving you quests. Or you could try just taking a walk around certain areas of the map with the music off and listen to some of the sounds and ambience that's created. or possibly you'll run into some familiar faces. Agents can be called or encountered randomly in the streets. Interacting with them can help increase trust and get insight into more personal aspects of your favorite agents. Enjoy watching Cars with Piper, learn that Caesar is good with kids, or some lore about her arm. Find Jane getting up to no good. Taking the time to further your bonds with agents gives you rewards, pause screen banners, and special cutscenes, such as watching films with the agent. These meetings also give you a great opportunity to get cute photos and selfies with your favorite agents. Big Daddy. This section is way less scripted, but I wanted to mention them without dedicating a huge section to them. Zenless Zone Zero, like other gachas or live service games, will have time-limited events. Some will give extra rewards for normal gameplay, but others will be unique and include their own dedicated quest lines. I really enjoyed the Overlord's Feast event. It came with its own dedicated quest coming after Chapter 4. It really was super enjoyable to do, and watching Cheesetopia get rebuilt as you played was really fantastic. And then there's been other events like Daily Life of a PubSec Officer, where you got to become a public security officer working like a desk job. And I really enjoyed how much that sort of immersed you into someone else's life in New Eridu. Outside of the game, there's tons of extra lore to be found. Zenless Zone Zero's YouTube page and their Twitter page post a bunch of bonus content that I think a lot of people might be missing out on and that they should really check out. You get a lot of things like first looks into upcoming chapters, skill and lore reveals, heck, even one of the most important pieces of lore for the game exists only on their YouTube page. I did not even know about this video until I started doing research for this. And a lot of their lore videos get made in the comic book art style that you'll see in some cutscenes, and it's complete with voice acting too. Not to mention they have other pretty fun content for characters like special music videos. I mean, we've all seen the Bernice one. Seriously, you've got to check out all the lore videos for the characters you love. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching my first YouTube video. I believe this will be getting uploaded right before 1.4 drops, which is going to be a really huge update to the game. So if you're even thinking about jumping in for the first time or coming back, now is probably a really good time to do it. I'm also working on more videos after this. I've started a couple of new scripts. The next video I'll be making will be about Nike, Goddess of Victory, so I hope you think about subscribing, sticking around, and checking out the next video.
Not very fond of this present moment in time.